Hey, what's going on guys, James here, and welcome back to another Slayer Task Guide. So today's Slayer Task Guide is on Grifolaroo, quite an interesting named creature. They're found in a new Polypore dungeon, and it's a fairly interesting new tactic creature to kill. It's something a bit new, something a bit refreshing, a bit nicer to just kill on Slayer because you might have never done them before. So if you get these things and you don't know how to do them, then this guide will basically tell you how. So first of all, we need to know the Slayer requirement. These things are going to require level 82 Slayer to kill. They're combat level 180, so okay effigy droppers, like in the same kind of territory as Dark Beasts. They have 1,845 life points. They used magic ranged attacks, and they also use a fungi attack, which you'll see later on in the video. It's basically where they get close to you and endlessly attack you with kind of like a poison-like attack, but just only while you're close to them. They give 184.5 Slayer XP for killing them, and they are very weak to magic and also being sprayed with neem oil. Okay, so now you've had some background information on Grifolaroos, you're going to want to know the inventory and setup you want to take to kill them. So if you haven't been to the new dungeon before, you're not going to know that everything in there is weak to magic, and melee and range attacks are fairly useless, as the creatures in there are designed to be heavily defensive against range and melee attacks. So you definitely want to take magic. Now, I know what you're thinking. Some of you might be thinking, oh, magic's quite expensive. So in that case, I'm going to first of all talk about the weapon I'm going to use. So the weapon I'm going to use is this Polypore Staff. Now, if you haven't got a Polypore Staff, you haven't had one as a drop, or haven't bought one in the Grand Exchange yet, I strongly advise buying one. I think at the minute for a charge one, they're trading about 1.5, 1.6 mil in the Grand Exchange as I make this guide, and this is only, 4 days after release of the dungeon, so they're probably going to go even lower than that. They're not worth very much, and it's a brilliant staff to use. This staff will hit higher than any other spell in the game, except for the Storm of Armadillo. However, that is extremely expensive at 2.3k per cast, so this is definitely a spell you're going to want to use. If you take into the consideration that a Fire Surge at the minute is roughly about 800 GP to cast, this thing is about 100 GP to make a cast, so definitely worth getting. And basically, if you do a task, it uses Polypore Spores, so one Polypore Spore equals one spell, and you will get Polypore Spores on your task. So this task, I've got 62 left, I'm probably looking to get around 3,000 more, and I'm going to use nowhere near 3,000 spells, so definitely a no-brainer. Get yourself a Polypore Staff, even if you haven't had one as a drop, or even if you haven't had one. Okay, so next thing to note is my actual gear setup. I'm using a Slayer helm because on Slayer, my Slayer helmet's full, but that's what you're going to want to wear. You don't want to wear anything else. You want that extra magic attack damage. Arcane Stream, basically what we're going for is our whole outfit. Arcane Stream, the Arims, the Seer's Ring Eye, Infinity Boots, Barrow's Gloves, God Cloak, and Farseer is maximum magic attack bonus. So you can see here my magic attack bonus is plus 135. What you're going to want to do is just change your gear according to what you have, just to give you maximum attack bonus. If you don't have an Arcane Stream, or any of the other dungeoneering necklaces that boost your magic damage percentage, then just put on a glory. You want to keep a God Cloak. Don't be wearing a skill cape, because God Cloak or Ardy Cloak will give you a much better, God Cape or Ardy Cloak will give you a much better magic attack bonus. This gives a plus 10. Ardy Cloak gives a plus 6. A Farseer Kite Shield, Arcane, Mage's Book, anything else you've got. Basically, all you want to do is just replace this gear with the best magic attack gear you have. As for the inventory, if I just click on the inventory and have a little look, for spec, I've got an Enhanced Excalibur. That's going to heal me up, or alternatively, if you don't fancy using the Enhanced Excalibur, you can bring a Karazi. I tested out the Karazi and it seemed to work really quite well as a spec weapon because it's a magic attack weapon. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm going to bring 100 GP. You can either bring yourself, if you've been there before, you can bring yourself a jug of your neem oil. If you've been there before, you'll know what it is. If you have no idea what this is, then you want to bring 100 coins. You'll only need about 6 coins, I believe, but I'm just going to take 100 because I'm not certain, and I know for a fact that 100 will cover what you need. So I'll go over how to get yourself this jug of neem oil, because you will need it for killing these. The next thing you want is some prayer pots, because you're going to be praying. And then I'm using a familiar of a Wolpertinger, and I've obviously got the magic focus scrolls. This boosts my mage up to plus 106, which is a boost of plus 7. This is exactly the same as a overload or an extreme magic potion, and boost it to the same level. So if you don't have a Wolpertinger, I'd advise bringing a some kind of healing familiar, or if you want, you can bring an aggressive familiar and go into multi and kill them. However, I also did test a cannon, and these things aren't really great with a cannon. It's not really worth the extra cost. If you really want to cannon them, you can. You just go into the multi area and just do exactly the same as what I'm going to show you, but just bring a cannon on your inventory as well. But I'd suggest if you have it, bring the Wolpertinger. If you don't, bring extreme magic, overloads, or just normal magic potions. If you don't have any of that, then just stay at whatever magic level you have and don't give yourself a magic level boost. So the next thing you're gonna want to note is if you have Soul Split or not. If you have Soul Split, then you don't really need. You can happily bring a Wolpertinger. If you don't have Soul Split, you are gonna get hit a little bit. If it's your first time, you probably will get hit even more. So I'd advise bringing some food in the inventory, and also if you can, do bring a healing familiar instead. The last thing I'll note is that I'm going to be using a Ring of Slaying. This is to test how many kills I've got left. There we go, kills left. If you don't have it, use an enchanted gem. It's obviously always really nice to know how many kills you've got left. But also, this is going to teleport me right next to a fairy ring. So what I should go into next is basically how to get to the dungeon. So if I go out of here, and we'll see the world map. The dungeon is found next to the magic training arena in Al Kharid. So if you actually see, it's just over here. This is the actual inside the Polypore dungeon. The best way to get there is to use a ring of dueling and run through this gate and up into there, unless you've got access to the fairy rings. If you've got access to the fairy rings, just make sure you get yourself as close to a fairy ring as you can. Edgefield Bank is a good example, or just use this, and this takes you this Ring of Slaying, and this will take you right next to a fairy ring. Make sure you remember your Draymond or Lunar Staff if you don't already, if you haven't completed the Fairy Tale Part 3. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to get there. So first things first, teleport to the Solaire Caves. This is if you're using this ring. This basically, like I said, just takes you to a fairy ring. Click on the fairy ring, and then the code you're going to want to use is BIP, and that was BIP. So all you need to do is change to the B on the first ring, and off we go. We should appear right next to the cave, right outside. So first thing to note is that everything in this dungeon is unaggressive, so just don't click anything and you'll be absolutely fine. You'll be safe inside. So let's go in straight away. Now, if you didn't have this neem oil, this is the point where you're going to want to use your 100 GP. You're going to want to trade with this merchant at the entrance. Buy yourself 1 jug and 1 pestle of mortar. And I've just realised that if you have your jug of neem oil and it's not got many charges in it, if you go on it, right click, check. If it hasn't got many doses in it, mine's only got 62 left, you're going to want to also bring yourself a pestle and mortar, so I'm going to chuck that right there. So the next thing you're going to want to do is, before you go down and kill your things, with your empty jug, you're going to want to fill your jug like this guy's doing here, by taking neem drupes off this branch right here. So I'm going to drop mine and just take them, like so. And if I drop this, actually, nope. Yeah, if I drop this, what it'll do is it should go into your inventory like so. You then want to have your pestle and mortar, and you click squish, and it will add it to your jug. From then on, every single creature in here drops these, what were they called, neem drupes. So when you kill a creature, it will drop a neem drupe, and basically you don't have to do that again. As long as you've got the pestle and mortar in your inventory, when you click to pick it up, it will automatically grind it and add it to your thing. Each creature drops normally between 1 and 3 neem drupes, depending on just randomly. So assuming you've got like 10, so you can grab some off it. I believe you can grab 6 off this vine, 6 off this vine. That will give you 12, and then you won't need to replenish again because you can just pick it up from the creature as you kill it, and it'll be between 1 and 3. So actually, your neem oil in this jug will steadily increase. Okay, so let's assume that you've filled your jug with some neem oil. You've got 12 neem oil in it, and you don't know where to go next. So next thing you want to do is you need to get to the actual, I always forget what these things are called. I have to do this and have a little look at it. Grifolaroos. We have to get to Grifolaroos. So the first thing to do is, you'll notice that this was where we came in, the entrance. You just want to jump down this vine here, and this will take you to the single way combat area where we find ourselves some Grifolaroos. Now these are the level 82 Slayer monster, and I will tell you straight off the bat that these are actually harder to kill than level 95 Slayer monster. These are by far one of the most annoying ones to kill because they jump around, stop you attacking them, and they use range and magic. It's quite annoying. But basically I'm going to show you how to kill them. So the first thing you want to do is, I'm going to get my familiar out and charge him like so, and that will give me the plus 106 or plus 7 magic levels to 106. The spell will automatically, if you're using this Polypore Staff, the spell is obviously automatically set because there is no spellbook. It can be on any spellbook I like. And then what I want to do is I want to put Prey Mage on, attack a random 1, like so, and then I want to try and spray oil on it. Now the thing with sprinkling oil around is that it will sprinkle on something random. So you'll see that when you sprinkled it with oil, see this one here hasn't been sprinkled with oil. It's got these pink spikes on its back. They go to grey or blue like so. Once you spray oil on itself, all it will do is it will only attack with range, and it will attack with range really slowly. Now this range attack will barely hit you, and that's why you only need a small amount of food. I mean, I don't know what its max it is, but it's hardly anything. But as you see, this doesn't last forever. It does get its spikes back, and it will jump to one of these little kind of plant things. But once you finish, what you want to do is you want to pick up the neem droop, and you'll see my character, like you saw before, grind it and put it into the jug with the neem oil. So then we pick up the drop, and then you want to basically do the same again. So another method you can use is you can stand behind these things and kind of safe spot them. So I'll try and demonstrate that now. But on these things, these creatures, it's a lot less efficient than it is just to use the neem oil itself. So I think it's this one you can stand behind right here. Let me just check it out. Yeah, so if you attack one like so, let's get attacked, and I believe you can stand behind this thing and so attack it. But these things jump around, and when they jump around, you it stops you attacking them, so it's just really annoying. So as you'll see, they attack with magic and they attack with range, but when you use the oil on them, see, like if you stand behind this thing, you don't actually have to use oil on them, but they do jump around, like I said, and if they jump to here, they will get you, and you will need the neem oil. So don't think that you can just stand behind this spot and just do the whole task, because sometimes they will jump around the side, and they basically will just start using this fungal thing. So I never actually showed you guys. If you stand next to them and you don't neem oil them, let me just get next to this one, it will start attacking you like so, and this starts to really rack up some big hits. So that's the last thing you want to do. I got polypus spores off this one, which I didn't mention, which is basically, I got 191, and that's 191 casts of this spell. So like I said, you basically, this is by far the cheapest way to go with this spell. So like I said, you can cannon them over, you can mage them over this thing, but it's definitely worth having the backup of neem oil, or you can just stand next to and neem oil them. If you do need to heal up with your soul split because you didn't bring food, then the best thing to do is to neem oil them and soul split. The reason is that if you neem oil them, like I said, they can only attack you with range, and the range attack barely hits, whereas their magic attack on the other hand is fairly powerful. So if I get close to this thing, and I'll see it jump around, it will stop attacking it. It's really quite frustrating. But if I neem oil this thing like so, I can then soul split, and it will only attack me with the range attack, which will barely hit me, and my soul split will counter that and heal me up. Whereas if I don't neem oil them and they attack me with the range attack, the mage attack, sorry, while I've got my soul split on, they actually hit quite hard, and they hit basically. They can lower you down. So if you're good and you can flick between mage and soul split, then you can heal up by just standing behind here and hitting them. However, if you're not so great with the soul split flicking, then just neem oil one and put soul split on like I did just then. So I'll kill one more, and this is the problem when they jump. They can jump close to you, but like I said, you can still kind of safe spot them by standing around the corner. It is a useful method to be able just to safe spot them. But like I said, it's always just worth bringing this neem oil and just having it as a backup, just in case you get into trouble with one. Because you might think, oh, can't you just stand on this thing here? But as you saw, this one just walked along the vine. They can follow you down the vine, so it's quite annoying as well. It's not really confirmed yet, but apparently using the neem oil also lowers their defense and makes them makes them a bit weaker. So using the neem oil can also be handy for quicker kills. But as I make this guide, that's not fully confirmed yet. That's the ins and outs of how to kill these things. They're all their attacks and exactly what they do. They are quite frustrating monster. It's much easier to kill the Ganodermic Beast, the level 95 Slayer creature, but if you get assigned these, it's worth killing them because you can get a good chance of an effigy. The level 180 combat, good chance of an effigy. You do get some okay drops that add up in the Grand Exchange, and you know, it's a fairly easy task and it's a fairly new creature, so it's an exciting task to do. If you do want to cannon them, then I will quickly show you guys where the multi-spot is. There are two multi-spots. The first one is, if you go in, so there's the entrance. If you come in and you go around, I think what these things called, the Grifolaroo. These are found on the second level every single time, so that's as far down as you need to go. But if you come over here to the northeast of the entrance, you'll find this mysterious entrance. This is a resource dungeon. Now this is multi inside here, and this will require level 83 dungeoneering, I believe, to enter. And then the second place you can go for multi is you can go over this, jump this gap, and it's an agility gap, and I believe this requires level 75 agility to jump across. So you will either need 83 engineering or 75 agility in order to get into any kind of multi-zone, which are fairly high level requirements. But once you're over here, you can do the same thing. You just jump down, and you should be able to find the can't look at it again, the Grifolaroo just down here somewhere. So there's one over there, just over there if you just saw it. So that's how to kill them. This one here as well. See, the thing is they're very spread out, and there's not many, so it's not actually worth cutting them in any way. It's basically a lot better just to kill them by the entrance, like I said at the start of the video, just where you come down. So that's the end of this Slayer task guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more videos.